I saw a lot of engineers on the internet looking for a job and things like that, and LinkedIn did a great job by putting this green thing like open for work. That is one of the best features on LinkedIn today. I'm gonna tell you why. Take it back. Go back to what I just said about a meeting.
Resonating.
You resonating, yeah. So LinkedIn makes it obvious that you are a meeting, you're the antenna, you're broadcasting that you're looking for a job, and then people that have jobs will much easily go to you than otherwise if you were just closing your corner and things like that. So if you take that example of LinkedIn, you can apply that to every single thing in the world. If you don't show up, who knows that you exist? Who knows that you can provide the service that you think you can provide? And that is also one of the reasons when people create companies, they advise them to always put it out there quickly, ship it quickly, because the sooner the better. People will get to know it, and the people that need it will run to give you the money, like keep going. And then you're gonna get the first wave of clients that are willing to pay for a product that doesn't even work. But the fact that they know you're solving their problem, so they're on the receiving hand of the broadcast part, then they start becoming like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 100 people. But these 100 people are just the part of the queue, like at the beginning of the queue. And then from there, it just expand and attract different kind of people that needed those 100 people to first adopt your product before the jumps. You know, people like that will say, no, I'm not gonna read that book. But once they heard that, oh, there are thousands of people that read it, now they'd be like, oh, that seems to be interesting, let me read it, right? So that's the, you need to broadcast. You put your resume online. Go on LinkedIn, put that green thing that you open for work, and you're gonna raise the flag, raise it. Even in this hard time, believe me, it's there. You gotta keep broadcasting what you want. So I have these physical books, but at the moment I'm reading a very famous book. I don't know if you read that. So the Napoleon Hill, you know that author? So he wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. And when I first bought that book, I was like, okay, that title is a little bit misleading, because if only a book can teach you how to think and grow rich, then why would we fight? Why would I build a company and things like that? Because I can just think. But it was actually more than that. It's an entire mindset that, weirdly enough, I've been using it. I've been having that mindset, but reading it from a book, like the way you handle relationship with people, being honest with people, being true to yourself. If you don't like something, you don't like it. But it's not about you. It's about how the world, the energy in the world works, and distribute things to people that want it. Have you ever been in a situation where you think really deep about something and it happens? Everyone has that, and people will say, yeah, damn, I don't know, that's a coincidence. Something, I was thinking about it and then it happens. I was like that. I will say, yeah, but this is just a random thing. But after reading that book and looking back at my life, I start seeing the pattern. Like, I'm there because I planned it. I dreamed about it. I kind of materialized it in my head. and then I work toward it. That's the important part, is not just, dreaming and dreaming. It's I put the action to get there. And without my knowing, I was kind of there already. And then I look back, I'm like, oh damn, that was painful. But the reality is, like, I can see it. I saw it already many years ago. I picture it, like where I am today. Kind of picture it. I can show you. I have a little book where I write stuff, and a mini book like that. Hackages Netherlands was already on that book in 2010. No, I said 2010, 2016. I had already all these little things. Hackflix was already there. These little things were there before I even turned that into a reality.
So to summarize, you're saying we think things just happen randomly, but unconsciously it's already brewing in your brain, and it builds up, and it feels like it's just there, but it's been building up all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So the main key word, the main takeaway there is, us human aren't able to create something that we haven't imagined. You take an airplane. That airplane is just a bird. That humans saw a bird, and then they mimic that behavior and then create an airplane. But it comes from an imagination. The people who create a car, like Henry Ford of the world, they picture something that can move us from A to B much faster. But you know what they did with that? They imagined that, and then they went working on it. There are many things. Today you're recording, you're creating content, but none of that, in a way, if you think about it, were planned. But it came up from your imagination, and then you just went like, let's do this. Where did it come from? Imagination. If what we're doing right now turn out to be something people really want and makes things rolling, you will be like, yeah, where did that come from? Imagination. And from the imagination part, you should be able to have an execution plan, and then be how do you say that? Resilient? No, that is no. You should be able to support the how do you say that? When you stick at something, regardless of the
something like in
resilient. It's like even things break, you're still there.
Yeah, that's kind of resilience.
Yeah, resiliency, right? If you gotta keep on pushing, it's like you know where you're going. Right? You want to become a filmmaker. Where did you start? You know where you're going. You were into music. Then you're transitioning to that thing by perfectioning your skills, doing small clips here, small things there. But at some point when you bundle them, people will be like, that guy is really good at doing movies. Well, you know what? Ask him 10 years ago, he was already thinking he's good at doing it, and he was doing it at a certain level. But each time, he will just become better. So we go back to the curve that I was explaining. Each time it just becomes better at each step. So that book, it's a recommended book. It's not about the money aspect of it, so Grow Rich. It's about your mindset, the way you see the world, the way you use the world as a playground to get to a certain place. And it all comes from here. Because us as human beings, we have this powerful engine right here that sometimes we just forget to use it. The generics, at some point when there is a thing in TypeScript when you want to define an object, and at the beginning you don't realize that actually an object is a key value, so it is a key value. But then the key there is often a string, and you forget about it. So then you're like, you're gonna put any or something. Don't put any. It costs you €5, right? No, €2. Then I will put that, and then my program will be like, no, it doesn't recognize it. Doesn't recognize it. Googling and things like that. Okay, that was many years ago, and yeah, it took me a few days. The documentation wasn't that good yet, and yeah, and then back then you had to type all these libraries that you will use because there were not enough typings already available. Yeah, I can think of a few more, but was it my worst? I don't know. On the top of my mind like that, I'm not sure anymore. But that one was a good one. I struggle a bit with that. My favorite dev tool, by far, it's Visual Studio Code by Microsoft. And a little bit over 10 years ago, it was a long time ago, Microsoft created a tool called Visual Studio. And even there, back then already, I was like, this is the future. This is the most productivity tool for developers out there. And then a few years back, they released another version of it, which is free, because the previous one was about €3,000 per year license. Yeah, those are really expensive, but they also understand that what you can create with it can bring like 100 times that value in return. So it's a good investment for people using it. But yeah, Visual Studio Code is my tool. Yeah, one of my preferred tools there. I will plug Wallaby.js, another tool, but yeah, Visual Studio first.
Cool.
Boy, that's a lot of stuff to learn right now. So there's this GraphQL thing. It's really amazing, and it's a game changer. It's something that I've started using a few years ago, but I've never really taken the time to go to learn it, the ins and outs of that technology, even though I used that already on project, but it was just use it, but not understanding to the point where I'm like, I can rewrite that thing. Because that's the way I learn. I want to learn things to if I need to use them quickly, I will just use them for quick usage. But sometimes I just want to go 1 or 2 steps further and learn the technology to a place where I can actually write it myself. And that's what I'm doing with GraphQL. The advice is, if you stick long enough on something, you're gonna become really good at it. Something good's gonna happen around that thing or about that thing for you. I mean, something good for you is gonna happen if you stick long enough on the thing. So you want to learn TypeScript, for example. Don't give up after a month. You won't see the value of the thing after a month. Give it some time. Stick to it. Keep on doing it. It's gonna yell at you like, doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. Keep on pushing. You want to become a good front-end engineer? Build more apps. Keep on building apps. At some point, it's not about the technique, the mechanism. It's going to be about the problem that you want to solve. You want to become a better engineer? Think in terms of engineers, but take the time, learn, keep on pushing toward a certain direction, but don't expect it to happen in a year or 2 or 3. Maybe in 6 months you will get to a certain point. But actually there is a good example of that advice that says, if you're learning anything or if you're trying to do something, you're gonna see at the beginning, you're gonna have this curve. It's just going up like that. And then, so you're learning, you're acquiring a lot of new skills. And then at some point you plateau. But then when you plateau, you feel like you're actually going downhill. But if you really stick at it, actually you reach already a certain point. There is no way you're gonna go right back. Let's say you're learning TypeScript. After a year or two, you're not going up and then completely down. No, because you know already the fundamentals. So you're gonna stay at a certain level. But if you double down, from that point, it's gonna be your new starting point. Then you will go much higher than where you were before. And then same thing's gonna happen. You're gonna reach a plateau, a little bit of curve down. If you stick at it, you will just keep on. And then there is no way you will go back to, you see what I'm saying, that curve there? That was the main advice from books, from talking with really close friends. I learned that if you stick at it for a while and double down, something good's gonna happen. And yeah, that's one of the best advice. So it works for developers, it works for anything really in life. People sometimes says, oh, when I'm around that person, I connect well. We have a good vibe, good connection, we work well together. But what is it really? In the book, in the Think and Grow Rich, they're talking about the mind as an antenna. It broadcasts, but it's also receives. It's like the radio station, right? So it broadcasts stuff and then people receive. But you know what happened when, I mean, you know it better than I do as a sound engineer. The frequency at which the waves are broadcast is usually much higher than what us human can capture. So there is something in the middle that's gonna squander it and then send that, make sure that us human can get it, can capture it through our devices and stuff like that, right? But if that thing in the middle wasn't there, well, there wouldn't be any communication between the radio station, so the broadcaster and the receiver. And it says exactly the same thing for us human, between us. It's like there is this, you emit something, you want something, emit it. And then someone on the other side will get that, because if it's on the receiving mode and has the possibility to provide that, then there is a connection that happens, right? So if you're a closed station, meaning you don't emit anything, you don't receive anything, good luck going on in life and then making something useful in life. If you close. If you open, I remember the way we met. You remember that one? It was really crazy. It was like, I admit the fact that, look, there is this project that I want to do, but I didn't put it online anywhere. I sat with a guy that I went to meet because I wanted to invite that guy to a podcast. And then when I sat with him, look, and then I told him about the thing. And then a few hours later, he told me, look, I might have something for you, someone for you. And then he put us in touch. And in a matter of 2 weeks, you switch. You went from, so we met, and then you switch you left your job, and then you joined me to create Hackflix, and then full-time freelance, and then join me at Hackages. But none of that will have happened if you didn't broadcast the fact that, look, I really want to go that route. And I didn't broadcast the fact that I really want to build that amazing experience around video, around podcast, and none of that will have happened.